Hello, hello. Here we are back with the Ugly Art Club's 5 minute challenge. I am going into these 14 pieces. I'm actually going to do days 2 and 3 in this particular video because 5 minutes was not enough for me to get this particular step done, which I think is really interesting as I'm working on these and kind of paying attention to how much time I spend on each step. I think that this is a great time for some personal reflection in my art making or creation. And I think that I was not prepared necessarily to recognize that type of stuff. So I think it's pretty interesting. But days 2 and 3 are coming together. I spent 5 minutes on each day. And I want to say that this process, because I'm working on a series and doing like similar steps on each piece in the 5 minutes each day, it's definitely going very differently than my previous 5 minute challenges with the Ugly Art Club, where I would finish a project in that day. So I'm finding it very interesting. Little self reflection. What I'm working on here is adding some collage pieces. So for this step, I chose things from my ephemera collection that are in the same tone, like they have a very similar age sort of pattern to them, or tone or color. They're all in that same like medium tone. They're not too dark, but they're not like brand new paper stark white. So some of them have text on them. Some of them have French text. Some of them have music notes. Some of them have handwriting. Some of them are typed. The variation in ephemera changes. There's book text and there's prescription labels and there's music sheet, but the size of the fonts or whatever may be on the paper is different, and the spacing on them and just different things like that. So I'm going for a little bit of variation. Uh, at the same time, I'm keeping this step sort of similar throughout all of them. And I'm tearing things in different ways, in different shapes, in different sizes. And then I'm just auditioning them on my piece. So here's where my second day starts. And I got through about half of them on the first day, which made it really simple for me to say to myself on the second day, I can go ahead and do the same step and then get them all done. So I really, really can't at this point wait to see what happens on the next days. I wonder how many of the days I'll be spending, like, how many of the days I'll be spending on the same technique, like in this case. I have chosen some different ways to glue, not ways to glue down. Let's see, how do I want to put this? I mentioned that I'm using different shapes and different sizes of the vintage ephemera, but I really want to point that out because in this case, it's similar to the first step where I use my secret weapon to add some splatters and things to the background of the paper. In this case, I'm doing the same thing with collage, where some pieces are smaller, some pieces are larger, some is covering up more area, and then in the case where we just went past, I covered up almost 2/3 of the page. So there's a lot of variation happening, because in the end, I definitely want these pieces to show up individually, where they will look great as a collection, whatever I decide to do with them in the end. I also want them to be able to stand up on their own. And so to make that happen, I need to use a variety of supplies, a variety of sizes, a variety of techniques, etc. And I think it's really fun to explore layouts, to explore patterns, to explore how the ephemera is reacting with or next to or around or on top of the first layer that's already there. It's a really great exploration series for sure. And I think that the 5-minute time limit from the Ugly Art Club is really kicking my butt and saying, hey, like, just do your stuff. Don't think too much about it. Get your stuff done. Show up for yourself and pay attention to what you're creating. So here are some stills. Don't forget, you can join our challenge at any time. It is 2 weeks. We'll interact with you on Instagram. Hashtag the Ugly Art Club. Hashtag TUAC 5-Min Challenge. And we look forward to seeing what you're up to.